Welcome to Wallace on Wire. Today we're talking about Malay Netizens' views on a pretty significant piece of legislation, the Urban Renewal Bill.
Yeah, it's definitely stirred things up.
It really has. There's been intense discussion, partly because the government's pushing quite hard for it, but public reaction seems very split.
Indeed. I mean, on the surface, the bill is about updating old, rundown buildings, modernizing the urban landscape.
Right, fixing things up.
But the debate around it goes much deeper than just city planning, doesn't it?
Uh-huh.
It touches on some fundamental anxieties.
Like what, specifically?
Well, anxieties about balancing development for the nation versus individual rights, especially things like property ownership, livelihoods. It's complex.
Absolutely. And just recently, the Housing and Local Government Minister, Ninga Korming, he made it quite clear, didn't he?
Oh, very clear.
He said the bill is going ahead for its second reading in Parliament on schedule. He even met with about 50 residents who are actually for the bill.
Yeah, that meeting was a strong signal. And Minister Nya basically framed it as constructive politics versus destructive politics.
How so?
He argued that the opponents are playing destructive games, while the government's focus is constructive, all of the people's welfare. He highlighted that many supporters are living in really old places, like over 30 years old.
Right. Places probably needing serious work.
Exactly. And they're hoping for redevelopment. So the government is definitely positioning this as a key development initiative aimed at improving lives. There's a real push behind it.
Okay, so that's the government's angle.
Okay.
How are Malay netizens reacting online? You mentioned strong support from some quarters.
Yeah, definitely. We're seeing quite a few voices saying it's about time, let's get on with it. They feel delays are just holding things back.
What are their main arguments?
Well, first and foremost, it's about living conditions. Many feel the current low-cost flats or older buildings are just, well, dilapidated, maybe even unsafe.
So they want better housing.
They really do. They see this bill as the path to that, to finally getting development and a more comfortable life. It's a basic need.
Okay, what else?
Some supporters also push back against the critics. They argue that people opposing it just haven't lived in those kinds of rundown, sometimes quite grim conditions.
So they feel the opposition doesn't really get it.
Kind of. That they don't understand the core issue and might be blocking progress for those who really need it. And thirdly, there's a layer of trust.
Trust in the government.
Yeah, trust in the current Pakistan-Harapan administration. Some see this as a genuine effort to help lower income groups, so they think it deserves full backing.
That makes sense, especially if you're living in one of those older buildings. But like you said, it's polarized. The opposition online sounds pretty strong, too.
Oh, absolutely. Just as vocal, if not more so in some threads. Lots of serious concerns being raised, even calls to resist the bill.
What's the biggest worry for them?
The number one issue, overwhelmingly, seems to be land ownership. There's this explicit fear being voiced that the bill could somehow lead to land being taken away, that it gives the minister too much power over property.
They see it as a potential power grab?
Some seem to describe it as a clever maneuver, something with potentially bad long-term consequences. It taps into that deep-seated fear about losing land, losing assets passed down through generations.
That's a powerful fear, culturally and economically. Are there other concerns tied to that?
Yes, definitely. Another big one is the worry that this is sort of a hidden way to push poorer residents out of the city centers.
How would that work?
Through costs. The concern is about the new housing specifically, the maintenance fees. People worry they might get a new apartment, but the monthly fees could suddenly jump significantly.
Making it unaffordable.
Exactly. So high that they can't stay, forcing them to sell up and leave communities they maybe lived in for decades. So, is it really renewal for them?
That's a critical question. What about who benefits financially?
That comes up a lot, too. There's a strong feeling among opponents that the real winners here will be the property developers.
Especially after that 30-year mark you mentioned.
Right. The suspicion is that when properties hit that age, developers swoop in, and the original owners might not get fair compensation. It fuels that idea that maybe it's more about profit than people.
So it's distrust about the outcome, the fairness. What about the process itself, how the bill is moving forward?
That's another point of contention. Many netizens are saying, hold on, don't rush this. They want proper debate in Parliament.
And guarantees.
Crucially, yes. Guarantees that original owners won't lose their land titles. There's definite skepticism about why the government seems to be in such a hurry. People are asking, what's the rush?
And history plays into this too.
It does. You see comments referencing past policies, expressing worry that this could be another decision that looks good on paper now but leads to regret down the line. Like we've seen grand plans before that didn't quite work out for ordinary people.
That historical memory, that potential for unintended consequences definitely fuels distrust. And it seems like broader politics is getting tangled up in this too.
Oh, inevitably.
Yeah.
You see comments pointing out the shifting political stances, which adds another layer of complexity or maybe cynicism.
Like what kind of shifts?
Well, some netizens highlight that when Pakistan National was in charge, they apparently thought urban renewal was a good idea.
But now...
Now that Pakistan Harapan is pushing this specific bill, Pakistan National is largely opposing it.
So from the outside, it can look like party lines dictate the stance more than the policy itself.
That's certainly how some netizens seem to view it. It leads to comments suggesting positions change depending on who's in power, or maybe even hinting that promises shift based on election cycles. It doesn't help build confidence in consistent policymaking.
Yeah, that political back and forth definitely complicates how people perceive the bill's actual merits.
It really does. When parties seem to flip-flop depending on whether they're in government or opposition, it makes it hard for people, for you, to know if it's about genuine belief in the policy or just political strategy.
Leads to skepticism.
Exactly. A sense that maybe every big initiative gets viewed through that partisan lens rather than on its potential collective benefit. You start to wonder about long-term vision beyond the next election.
So when you strip it all back, this urban renewal bill controversy really highlights that classic tension, doesn't it? The push for development versus protecting individual rights.
Absolutely. The government clearly has aims, tackling old infrastructure, improving cities, lifting living standards. You can see the intention there for progress.
Which sounds good on paper.
Right. But then you have these very real, deep fears from citizens about losing homes, about land acquisition, about rising costs forcing them out, and worries about potential power abuse within the legislation.
It's that universal challenge. How do we progress as a society without hurting individuals, especially the vulnerable ones?
It's a huge balancing act. It needs careful thought, ethical consideration. How do you achieve the collective good without compromising individual security and rights?
Indeed. So how this urban renewal bill finally plays out, and especially how well it manages to navigate these competing interests, that's going to be really telling.
It really will be. It's a test case for how we approach urban development moving forward. Touches on so many core aspects of city life.
The lessons we learn here, whatever happens with the bill, will likely shape things for years to come. It's a reminder that development is ultimately about people.
Well said.
Which brings us to a question for you listening. Thinking about national development versus individual rights, what kind of balance do you think is crucial for Malaysia's future? What factors should be prioritized? Let us know your thoughts.
Thanks for tuning into our discussion today.
Remember to like and subscribe for more videos like this.